This is the Gray Hair and Daycare Podcast, with a combined age of 111 years and a combined IQ right in that same range. Your hosts, Frank Sirio and Carlo Russo.
So this is exciting because if you're watching this, you actually this is the second time you've done this.
Yeah.
Or you started with number 2, right? Which I often do, and then I do.
Every morning. That's right.
We're very, very happy that you take the time to come back again.
Yes.
And join us. So this is, in fact, episode 2. I am Frank Sirio, 55 years old, and my wife is now 19 weeks pregnant. And this is my friend, Carlo Russo, who is with me.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. And thanks again for giving us a second chance. Or a first chance.
First chance, second chance.
You don't know it's a podcast.
Our last chance. But we'll see.
You only need 19 weeks.
That's it. I just want to make it till the kids.
Then we dump everything.
That'll be it. That'll be okay. I'm done. But so we talked about in the first episode a little bit about what our dreams and aspirations are.
Yeah.
For the podcast, and one of the things I really want this to be is like live, like week by week, what happened.
Yeah. It's like a journal. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Right? Is that what it is? A journal?
A little bit. But right now, I've got a bunch of weeks to catch up on.
Sure.
What I want to do is kind of take you back to kind of where it started, and we'll just try to catch up to real time. So maybe over the course of this and the next couple episodes, we'll get up to real time before.
So we're going to go in the past to get to the future.
We're going to go
or the present.
We're going to go back to week 4, because week 4 is when we found out, and essentially, before that, we tried for a while. Kelly and I have been married for 7 years. Yeah, we wanted to take a couple years of just enjoying being a couple, and
you guys love traveling.
We do. We love to travel, and we got a chance to do that stuff. And then in the middle of there, I think the thing that really derailed us and pushed this a couple more years was COVID, right? So COVID happened, and you're not thinking this will be a great time to have a child.
Yeah.
So we, that slowed us down, but we tried. We started in earnest, really trying, and I think we came close a couple times.
Yeah.
I think toward the end of 2023, and then earlier in this year. It was week 4, so 15 weeks ago now. We thought we were, and you get to take the test. And how it was interesting is you take the first test, and my wife is a brilliant woman, and she's very methodical about things. She said, okay, so this is good, but now it's HCG is what these tests measure.
Okay.
So what I think is interesting is like that is a HCG is a fertility drug that they will give women to get them to ovulate. I will give it to men who need help also to increase sperm count.
Gotcha.
So, but it's also the hormone level that they measure, and initially that's what the little P tests are looking for.
Initially knows if you're pregnant.
And then they're very scientific about it, that level, if you test and you're pregnant, then that level is supposed to double every 24 to 48 hours. Gotcha. So Kelly being the way she is, it's like, okay, so now in 2 days, the number should be this. So it really was like a gradual, the initial, which she called me and said she was. I'll never forget it. I was coming back in from the carriage house, back in the house. I'd been working on some nonsense or whatever.
Doing your normal whatever.
my normal stuff. And she told me, and I thought, well, like, okay, like this is it's gonna happen. And said a little prayer and got on with my day. So then it was like, okay, in 2 days, okay, now in 4 days, and then okay, now in a week. So, and all I'm thinking is, can we tell? Can we tell anybody?
So can I, because I didn't experience this.
Yep.
So she's taking new tests every.
So she's going.
Couple days. Is that what she's doing?
So
for the numbers,
working with the doctor, they're doing a test. It was like, a test, you're pregnant. This is where you should be in 2 days. Hit the goal.
You got it.
4 days later, and we get
Okay. So you're going back and forth
she's going in,
to the numbers,
like
looking
on
at
her way into work. She's stopping,
Gotcha.
and checking, and and it's all on the rate, on the rate trajectory. But that's kind of what we were, how we were doing it, and it was fun because we went at the threshold. At the same time, I'm looking at Kelly and thinking, is she fully is her heart in it yet? Right?
Okay.
She's obviously excited, but
So why did you think that?
you know what it is? I think she is. We think very, very differently.
Okay.
And I think she manages her disappointment in by managing her expectation.
Okay.
So I don't think she did. She wouldn't fully allow herself to engage in it because she didn't want to be disappointed. We've had
She was protecting herself.
exactly. We had those couple of things where we thought so,
and it didn't work out.
and that didn't work out, and that was very disappointing. Now we're going way back, but what I think was interesting was in the moment it was like, oh, well, I guess we'll keep trying. But then things got a little tense, like a week later, and just normal husband-wife stuff. But we talk about. I talk to my wife a lot. We talk about everything. It's one of the things I love about our relationship, that we can. She was like, yeah, I think it was harder. Like, it was a bigger disappointment for her when she had that glimmer of hope that it got to her. So I think by the time we got here, I think the stakes were higher. And
Well, there's more to lose now because it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, when something happens, you're like, okay, it wasn't meant to be. It's not. But when now you're trying to hold on to, this is I could lose a lot.
Right.
I don't want to get too over myself right now because losing at this point could be really scary.
It is one of the, it is. So for me, I was still kind of in that, it's great. This is fantastic. Well, let's tell everybody. And she's like, no, you got to wait till at least 12 weeks and you got to be careful. I completely understand that, but it was.
So that's 4 weeks. You did the initial. You're pregnant.
4 weeks
right?
is when we did the first test, and then over the next few days and the next week, it was
testing numbers,
testing the HCG, and everything tracked well. And then week 5, so a week later, then after those went well, then they do an ultrasound.
Okay.
So she goes in and they do the ultrasound.
How did that hit you? Because I can tell you, for me, when my wife says I'm pregnant, okay, I got the initial, oh my God, I can get somebody pregnant, yay for me, right? It works, everything works. So that was my initial thing. Again, we didn't go through, we went through the natural way, and that was that. It didn't become real until I heard that heartbeat, and I choked up, I teared up, because now I'm listening to my son or daughter. And it got real. How was it for you?
So what's interesting is, because of some of how tentative things were,
right?
And initially she's going in just for these tests. I'm not going with it. She's doing all the way to work.
Yeah.
So week 5, she goes and does the ultrasound, and she just tells me about it.
Gotcha.
Right? I'm not even there.
Gotcha.
And I don't think at that point, I don't know if there even was a heartbeat to listen to. I would have to ask. So I'm just hearing good news, right? And they're showing, there's a little, they send pictures.
Yep.
The technology is amazing what they're doing, but
you see that light right there?
Yeah.
It's a heart.
So they go through, so she goes through week 5, that's it. And then I think it was week 6, she goes back and she does another one. So now it's a couple weeks later. We're still not really, and we're not obviously not telling anybody, and things are going okay. She starts kind of with the beginning of certain foods. All of a sudden, are like, she just completely like, I can't be around.
The thought, the smell,
this or that, which is not like her. She doesn't have the relationship with food that I do. She doesn't care about food.
Right.
So those reactions, I think, I was like, oh, I think I'm seeing this stuff as a good sign. And she goes, and at this point is when I ask, I'm like, so when do I start going with you for the ultrasound?
When can I play?
Because I'm trying to be like, she's trying to be very,
right. You're saying, do your
she's
thing.
taking a step at a time, so I don't want to, so I'm like, when do I get to go? And she's like, oh, whatever you want. So I'm like, okay.
3 weeks ago.
I would have been happy to go.
Yeah.
At that point, then we're moving into week 6, from week 6 to week 7. And so week 7 is the first time I get to go for the ultrasound.
Okay.
And there is now all along the ultrasounds that she's doing, it's just what the heart rate is. The heart rate's this, the heart rate's this. Every time you go, the heart rate's supposed to be in this range. And we're getting those things, so that's all good.
Right.
But this time, I'm pretty sure, I think it was the first time she heard the heartbeat too.
Okay.
Where they actually played it.
And you're both at the same,
and
you're both there.
And we're there.
Okay, so that's good.
And that was a crazy moment because they're doing it, they're doing the ultrasound, and the way the tech, I don't know if it was like this, they have her email, they're taking pictures and texting her.
See, that's all new. Even from my
as they're
experience,
doing it, as they're doing it, tech is facing her and looking at a monitor. I'm in a chair with a 40-inch TV watching it.
Same thing.
And they're going through everything, and they're like, oh, there's and there's an I see not it's like
it's
I don't know what I'm looking at. This could be a sonar attack. I don't know, what is that? I think it's a light.
It's
I don't know.
A whale making sounds.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But they turn out and say, there's the heart, and there's the heartbeat, and you hear it, and it was a combination of, I was disappointed that there was nothing on the screen that I was recognizing. But I'm like, I'm looking for something.
Right. But I think that's why the heartbeat at that moment is so huge, because you can't see anything else, but you can hear it.
There's nothing more human than that sound. How to find about all right? Like that. So that was fun, and I was
became real. To me, it did.
Yeah.
It became real. Up to that point, there were talkings. The doctor says everything's good. Yeah. I look good. My thing, that. But there's no photos. There's no, voice. The heartbeat sound is the first thing that I put into oh my God, there it is. I can hear it.
Yeah.
So, and up to that point, it was just either photos were just doctors going, everything looks great.
Yeah.
So that's why it hit me real hard.
Yeah. No, it was an interesting thing. And I think Kelly was watching me watch it.
Experience it.
Right. And once I started getting a little teary-eyed, obviously she started to as well. And it was a nice moment, and I'll never forget it. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, and she's off to work, and I'm on to my next thing. So that's that was week 7. So I get to hear the heartbeat. I get to see the little blob. And then we go into, the next week, week 8, there's a couple things that were more fun.
Okay.
So we go back for that.
Now, week 8, they say wait until week 12, right? To announce. So you're still doing this in secret.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It was like, if you make it to week 10, you're 90%.
Could be something that
90% chance you're going to go to term.
We're Italian, so we don't want to jinx anything.
I was ready to tell.
You're right.
I think I am generally optimistic person, and I think Kelly is much more always managing the expectation. Don't want to put it out there too soon.
Yeah.
And I completely understand that. But if it were up to me, I'd have been like, guess what?
4 weeks.
So because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, so now so now it's week 8. It's already been a month going by.
Sure.
We go back, and I'm like, okay, well, let's show you the blob. And they get in there. Another thing I'm fascinated by is the ultrasound techs. These girls look like they're 19, and they're really good.
Because you're having a child at 50.
Yeah, that's what happened. But these girls are I'm like, how long have you been doing this? She's like, 9 years old. Like, what?
Aren't you 18?
When were you doing this?
Yeah.
But they're incredibly, they're all great, and they're very skillful, and they identify this stuff. But this time, there literally was a moment where she's going around, and they're like, oh, look. And I see jazzy. I see the little.
Gotta love the jazz hand
little sticks, and I look at Kelly, and I don't know if she said it first or she's like, but I think she said it. She's like jazz hands. I'm like, yep, there you go. That was a cool moment.
That overrides the heartbeat.
It does. It overrode the heartbeat.
Yeah.
That was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
It did have more of an impact, I think, than maybe even the first time.
Her visual is always.
And it was also one of the first times where I felt like, okay, she's starting to be the happy part of this, right? She's really I think keeping it under control, and then to see her kind of light up with a little bit of excitement.
It's gotta be hard not to go in that route when you see jazz hands in the body.
Yeah.
I mean, even like you said, Kelly being usually not like you.
Yeah.
Even seeing that, you gotta go like, oh,
yes,
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I can't make it anymore.
She couldn't help it.
Right.
So we're at 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And the thing that happened that week that was most notable was I start getting, she's doing searches about all things to do with babies and stuff that we're going to need and thinking about all that stuff. And I'm doing some of that stuff too. So all of a sudden I'm getting pushed over and over again, videos and groups. We talked about it a little bit in the first episode, all these parenting groups and videos and reels. And I'm sitting there, and a lot of time my day will wrap up and Kelly gets home a little bit later than I finish up. So I will have an hour where I'll just kill time reading, or I'll watch something on TV. So I'm looking through this stuff and I'm getting pushed these videos, and I really wanted to try to find it so I could link to it for the podcast.
Gotcha.
There was this video, and if anybody out there has seen the video and can send a link, I would love to be able to share it with everyone. It is a video of parents, mothers and fathers, all reading from some book, and they're all reading the same passage. But have you ever seen one of the videos where they'll be reading the same thing, but they'll switch from person to person, but they're all reading continuously?
Yeah, continuous read, but from different people.
And it's the whole passage is about childhood and raising children and how quickly it goes by. And I'm right now talking about this video thinking I have to manage my emotions because I will start crying now. I watched this video the first time and was like inconsolable.
Right.
I was crying my eyes out. Like I could, if the phone had rung, I wouldn't be able to. And because these people that are reading this are experiencing it, and they are breaking, they're starting to tear up as they say it, because it's reminding them of these moments that are gone now. They're gone for them. And I'm thinking, first of all, what a blessing to see that now and be
4 years has even started
to start to get that in my head.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid and rush through this.
Yep.
Realize that everything that I'm about to experience things that I'm going to look back on for the rest of my life. You have to really try to sink my teeth into that.
Your present will be memories.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And you have to hold on to that present as long as you have it, because I just celebrated my baby's 18th birthday.
That's right.
Right.
So what was that? What is that like? What did it feel like?
Okay, so I guess I got used to it, but when my first turned 18 or 21, because he hit both of them, it makes you realize time flies.
Yep.
But it also makes you realize what a great time it was, and what a great time it's going to be for the next however long we're blessed on this earth for. But my little one that just turned 18, you're always blessed when you can have your child turn another year, right?
Sure.
I mean, that's what we don't want to outlive our children. In one aspect, you're like, thank God, he's 18, he's healthy, he's smart, but at the same time, he's my baby. He's I took him home that day and I drove 5 miles an hour because we were scared something was going to happen and something was going to hit us, or I was going to, it's the same child that, we come home from work and my wife would hand me to him because she hadn't slept, and now it's my shift and I loved it. And I would just sit on the couch and have him on my chest. So all these memories come through. But yes, what you were saying, time flies. When you're in the middle of it, you always think this is never going to change. This is my life. But then eventually you're going to go through that moment going, where was those times? Oh my God, I wish I was still holding my little girl or little boy. Because they go by so fast. Because I think we're always like, hey, you're gonna be one almost, and let's push that. Oh my God, you're gonna start kindergarten. Oh, we jump to these big parts of life, and we're not sitting through going, slow down, slow down. That's why my wife, she always took pictures and videos, things that we never had growing up. I don't want videos of us. Right? Wouldn't it be cool to see our parents young and having, wouldn't that be cool?
I have one means that my uncle, my dad's brother, had a movie camera. I think my dad had one too, but he never did anything with it.
Right.
So there are no movies. But there's a movie that my cousin had that I got my hands on somehow digitally. And there's glimpses of mostly my siblings when they were little, but there's like a few seconds of my mom and a couple, just a few seconds of my dad. And it's like the best thing to see them at that age. Yeah.
Working it and living, living life. I remember I used to, we didn't make fun of, not make fun of, but you said, God, another video. But then you look at it now, and I have so many of my two boys on vacation and on the bikes, or you gotta do that, because to get back to the point where we're talking about, time flies.
Yeah. I'm lucky because my siblings were so much older. Yeah. The older of my two sisters, I think, had a camera. So there's very few pictures of my siblings, but there's like albums of me.
Right.
So we have a lot of pictures, no videos.
Right.
But we went from no videos to, I remember when my brother, when his daughters were born, he had the multiple generations of camcorders.
Absolutely.
So he was taking all the videos and all that stuff, and everybody did that. And now you're almost on the other side of that, where you've got video camera on your phone. People, their whole lives are on video. And now you almost don't. I worry about
less is more.
I know how I am. Like, I follow the dogs around with my camera. I know I'm going to want to do that, but I also don't want to be trapped behind the camera. I want to capture those memories, but I really want to live them. Right.
So a lot of people say that, like in concert, put that down and record it in your mind. Right. Use your eyes.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but these are memories. You want to look at your child at that moment, and the best way to do it is videotape it, because just the motion and you don't need just the realism of what they're doing at that moment.
Your memory is
right.
That's
and I think you can do both. I think you're going to have many times where you go, no, this is just for me.
Yeah,
this is just for me and my memories. And I never understood it either. But when I recorded stuff, it makes me remember that moment even more when I see it.
Sure.
So it works. Yeah. It works both ways. Like, I could have forgot something, but I saw it in video. Go, oh my God, that was a great memory.
Yeah. And so are there times when you sit down, like where you and Trina sit down and watch?
Can I tell you something? We regularly watch our wedding video.
Really?
Yes. We love it. We see all of our friends. We see the dancing, the toast. We will sit there and
that's why you're such a sweet, cute couple. I mean, come on.
Maybe on anniversary or a cold winter day, and we'll come across it again. Hey, let's put that on tonight, and we'll sit there and watch it.
That's fantastic.
We've watched it with her aunt that was the maid of honor, and yes, we have sat there, and we do a lot of, because like we said, sometimes video is like, it's so
real. Dress up. Do it again.
We dress it up. We go through our albums. Our photo albums.
For your wedding album.
Yeah, and my wife is very good with, when we go on vacation, there's a lot of these companies that you can take these photos and make books.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we'll just go one book after another, and we'll, see the kids when they were vacation and this. So yes, we go through that.
That's fantastic.
We go through that a lot, and you have to, because it's just, now the kids are moving on. My son is out of the house. My oldest one is out of the house. My youngest is going to be in college. We're going to be empty nesters, as they say. And, so videotapes and photos are going to take a lot of that time that you want to share again.
I take all these pictures, and I would keep them on my phone or in the cloud. And a lot of them are great pictures, but you never look at them. So one year for Christmas, I got the idea. I went year by year. I built an album. Mm-hmm. Google does it, Google Photos. And I built an album year by year, and I've been doing that every year. So we have this album for every year we've been together.
Oh, cool.
And then some years, like when we went to Italy, that gets its own
special
so many pictures.
Yeah.
I aspire to do exactly what you are doing, because it must make it. It's gotta. They say that when you remember something, you're not the mechanism in the brain. You don't remember the event. You remember the last time you remembered it.
Right.
And that probably keeps things fresh in a very different way for you.
In my mind, my wedding wasn't 26 years ago. It was probably 9 months ago.
Yeah, that's
because I see the video and I feel that same happiness. We got married. I see us, how happy we are and our family is. And that drives you like, oh my God, this is a beautiful thing we have.
Yeah.
So I would say, take as many pictures, take as many videos. Yeah. You're going to live the moment anyways.
Yep.
Don't fear that if I turn this camera on, I'm not living the present. You are. You're looking through a lens and you're still seeing it.
Yeah.
And you're going to experience it.
Preserve it.
Yeah. I love it. I love watching our videos. I absolutely love it. And every time I see it, I get excited. Take the videos, enjoy it, enjoy your baby.
I will do that. So we were up through week 8.
Yep.
So
mine is separate.
Week 9, I think, is the week where I have come as close to knowing what it's like to be a parent at this stage. So week 9, it was a Monday, back to work after the weekend. Things are going okay. Kelly comes home from work. As she does, she goes into the bedroom to change. And I'm hungry, so I start eating. I hear her talking to somebody. Sometimes, that time of day, sometimes she'll talk to her sister or her mom or somebody on the phone. So I'm not thinking.
You're not really thinking anything of it.
Not thinking a whole lot of it. And then time's dragging on. And I'm like, I don't want to eat my whole dinner.
Right.
I start to feel guilty. And I'm wondering what's taking so long. So I get up and I go in, and she's just hanging up the phone. And I could see something's wrong. What's wrong? She goes, well, I had some bleeding, and I was just on the phone with the doctor, and immediately just stark terror. And I said, well, how bad was it? And she said, well, when it first happened, I called and they said, just put your feet up and hydrate, and just relax, and we'll call us in the morning. And it's about 7 o'clock in the evening. And she said, and just as I hung up, then I passed 2 big clots.
Oof.
And I said, well, what do you mean big? And she said, like 5-6 centimeters. I thought, and that was like, okay, now I get why she is handling things this way, because
this could happen.
So immediately I'm like, okay. And, kind of get her settled, bring her something to drink. And she talks to them, and they're like, just, say.
Is she in any pain, or just this was happening?
She felt like something happened, and that was it.
Uh-huh.
And my first thing is get her settled and comfortable. And then as soon as that happens, this was one of the moments where I am clearly the more visibly emotional person in the relationship, right? I'm immediately a mess, right? Like
she's calming you down.
She's like, oh, this is just, we have to do this. We'll go see them in the morning. She's feet up. She's doing her thing. And I, in that moment, realize there's absolutely nothing I can do. Nothing. And in the same moment, I realized, as long as this kid is alive, this is going to be my life.
Mm-hmm.
That there are going to be things that are completely beyond my control. I'm going to worry to some degree or another like that.
You will sit in your worry without any
for the rest of my life. And it was a bittersweet moment because to get a little choked up just thinking about it, because I want that. In that moment, I think, okay, sign me up. I will be like this.
Yep.
I'll be a mess like this for the rest of my life. Just don't
take it away.
Don't take that away. It was absolutely I think without doubt. I'm a very lucky person. I have a great life. I've had a great life. I have a lot of things to be thankful for. I've also had my share of shit. Okay, I've been through a lot of crap, and nothing. That was probably the hardest 12 hours of my life. I didn't sleep a wink. I'm trying to be supportive for her, but realize you're a mess inside. You're a mess. Yeah, and I'm not hiding it. Right. I'm not doing a great job. I'm not hiding it. Wow. But I'm trying, but she's being much more level-headed about how to handle it. And in that moment, the only thing you can do is pray, right? That's it.
That's the first thing.
Once she was settled, and this is okay, we just have 10 hours.
Right, yeah,
we can find something out. But over the last 2 years, I've just started to become more involved in our faith. I've started going to church again. That brought me to starting to. Have you ever heard of that? I should offer to be a sponsor for free. Hallow, or you should familiar with Hallow. So I started praying daily with Hallow. I started doing that. And over the course of the last couple of years, that has been really extremely beneficial in general. So in this moment, this is a moment where I'm going to put everything.
I need my faith right now.
I need this. I went back out. I went outside. When I found out in week 4, I was walking back in from, it was a nice day. It was a sunny day. And I was walking back in from the carriage house, and there's a tree there kind of by the side of the driveway. And I stopped, and we talked, and I hung up, and I knelt down, and I prayed right then.
Yeah.
And thank God.
Thank
God that I was so excited. It was a wonderful opportunity. And in that night when this happened, in week 9, it was, by now, maybe 9 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I went outside, and I kneeled down in the wet grass, and there's a big moon. Just by myself, I let her. I look back at the house, and there's my dog Watson in the window. What are you doing? Look,
why is dead?
And I was there as long as it felt right.
Right.
And just prayed, and went back. I didn't want to be gone too long because she was by herself.
Right.
But went back in, and that was it. It was something that. Yeah,
I think you release yourself to the higher in our faith to God.
Help me understand that, right. and just
guide me through it.
Guide me through it, and make me strong enough. In whatever you're going to ask of me, just help me to be strong enough to handle it.
Right.
And that's it. And there was a little bit of comfort there, in that moment, but it was just. It was a lot of it when I wasn't just thinking about how am I going to, how will I support Kelly if this goes the wrong way? How hard will it be for her? I know how hard it was earlier in the process. This is a whole different level.
Right. Just to beat the picture, at this moment, you have no idea if it's pregnancy on, pregnancy off, what's going on, right? You're going to bed thinking, anything can happen.
This is what as much as we talk, we have a great relationship and we can talk about anything. Mm-hmm. In this moment, I'm terrified that I'm going to make it harder for her. So I don't know I don't know how much I should ask. And she said a couple so I'm trying to gauge, because she's keeping it pretty
tight,
pretty narrow. Like, she's not, as I can tell she's distracted. I can tell she's upset. I can tell, but it's very, we're just going to see, we're going to do what we're supposed to do.
Very professional.
Very professional, kind of analytical. This is what we have to do now. So I'm asking little things and, what did you think? How? And she said, well, the clot was big enough that she touched it to see
if there was something
there. I'm thinking the worst, as much as I don't want to believe it.
Well, you're preparing yourself.
Yeah, and I'm kind of,
you're preparing yourself.
I'm trying to prepare.
That's what we do, right? We have to prepare ourselves, if you're smart, for the worst, so you don't fall off a cliff overnight.
It is something that, look, I've been around for a long time. I've had a lot of wonderful things happen in my life, and the stakes were higher in those 12 hours than I have ever experienced.
Even
highs and lows, all the great stuff, all of the most horrible stuff. I felt like there was more of my heart on the line in that moment than I have ever and have since.
And the thing is, that also shows that how much you want this.
Yeah.
How much you really, you're in it. This is, I know, I need this. I need this.
Yeah. This isn't going to be, oh, well, it wasn't meant to be.
No, this is a bad.
That would be very, very, very hard.
So the night you're taking care of your wife.
And really the only thing to do is we're supposed to go to the doctor in the morning.
Okay.
So basically, we kind of spend that, we hang out together on and try to watch a little TV to distract ourselves. We're emotionally exhausted, both of us. We just went to bed. So I think we talked about this in the last podcast. My paternal grandfather, my father, died before I was born. But I have a few of his things somehow or another that got to me. One thing, he was very religious. He was very devout Catholic.
Sure.
And I have one of his prayer books, and it's in Italian. It's a whole, like, it's the Mass when it was done in Latin.
Gotcha.
It's from the, it had to be from the 50s.
I was going to say, it was 50.
And I have that. I spent the night with that on my chest. That was it. I think Kelly slept a little bit. I don't think I did at all. That, obviously, the good part of this is, we're in week 19. So, the story, the story did go the right way.
Right.
But
these are things that make you the father you're going to be. This is what makes you the husband you need to be. Just think of what you said. The reason why every year, 9 months to a year, we tick out our wedding video is to remind ourselves that we started this together. Yeah. If we don't have a strong marriage, things like that could have went south. Are gonna be, you're gonna meet them things in your time. The stronger your marriage is, you'll get through that.
Yeah.
It might not be pretty all the time, but that's why I remind myself, or we remind ourselves, hey, remember this day, remember why we're married, and we still feel that way. So when bad things happen, my wife and I know that we're strong enough that we're not going to go against each other.
Yep. Because you have kept all the good stuff close.
The first important thing was me and her. We had no kids before that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I mean, as much as I love my kids, and I mean, obviously now anything would be devastating.
Sure.
But at that moment, let's say we went through that moment. Let's say that.
Yeah.
I know I can go back and go, we have a strong marriage, and maybe I'll get into it in the future on this podcast. That I struggled with a lot of stuff with my wife and I. Yeah. We went through a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Medical wise. And if we weren't strong, you're not making it through that.
No.
So
absolutely.
So I'm glad when you said, what can I do? At that moment, the only thing you can do is make sure your wife and you are in a good place.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that I joke around about is the father with a son, the father's role is to kind of point the kid out at the world and help him to figure out how it works. A father with a daughter is to show that little girl what she needs to look for by how you treat your wife.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm like, I tell Carlo now, like, you're so lucky because now I'm on, like, now I have another set of eyes on me that I have to, like, I am very motivated to do that. And I do think, I do think too, you know, when you see different couples and different families and situations, and I have seen that in the past where they have kids and all of a sudden it becomes like a team sport, right? It's not mom and dad anymore. It's like the mom and the daughter.
The separate.
And I don't think it should be that people become immediately so focused on the kid that they forget about
the other.
And the kid ends up with this idea that everything should be focused on me. Yeah. I mean, that's not great either.
You have to have that balance of you're still a married couple. You're still, a unit. It's gotten bigger with the kids, but you can't forget who you are.
Right.
And I see pictures of, I'm Jimmy's dad shirts. You ever see those things?
Yeah.
I'm Susie's mom. And it's like, that's great, but you're also Susie.
Yeah. My son is my hero.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. No.
Yeah.
Be the hero for yourself.
Exactly. A lot of kids are being raised by single parents or divorced parents, and that's a whole different thing we can get into. And we're lucky that we have our parents. They, I saw a married couple, good or bad, but and my kids are seeing a married couple, and maybe to them that's what they need to do. And when they're married, it's not a joke, and it's not like, oh well, if this goes bad. It teaches them stuff. Like, this is how I grew up. This is what's comfortable to me. I'll do anything I can to make a good home. I'm not saying that single home parents are worse off. No, I'm just saying when they see, like you said, when they see it from the house, then they say, okay, I want to do that. I want to become that as well.
Yeah.
But at least
having a vision of good.
Having a vision of mom, dad. I'm not getting spoiled. I'm not the main thing. They still live their life and they take care of me 100%.
Right.
You need that. You need more of that.
Yeah.
Now more than ever, the family values has to come back. We have to have some sort of value of the house.
I'm glad I came around to this before this happened because I know it'll make me better at what I need to do. So week 9 was a tough week, but then, made it through the night, went to the doctor. I'm a mess. And we get into the room, they get us right in, 7 a.m. Ultrasound fires it up, and they're like, yeah, no, everything's okay.
God.
I have this.
Your emotions must be so all over.
This is one of those things that I know in myself is that I automatically assume people don't know what they're doing. Right? I'm seeing the thing I'm seeing a new blob.
Yeah.
There's no movement in my head. So I'm immediately looking.
The blob is not moving.
The blob is not moving. I don't see the jazz hands, and I don't hear a heartbeat. And she's like, yeah, everything's fine. And I'm like, is there a heartbeat? Oh yeah. I don't hear it. She just flips the switch.
Mine's off.
There's the heartbeat, and there's the immediate sense of relief. And the ultrasound tech's like, see, the little shit just decided to scare the hell out of you.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, I was sure as hell. And in that moment, we were both so relieved, and they're so casual about it.
I was going to say, they're calling it the little shit. They slept all night.
I just had the last 12 hours, the worst 12 hours of my life. And this woman's like, okay, so next week we're going to...
Yeah, they'll pick up right exactly where they left off.
Right. I'm not even asking, you typically, something like this, I would be all over.
What happened? Why is this? Yeah.
Why did it happen? How did this,
you were like, thank you.
Let's go get breakfast.
Let's not talk about until
we're going to Julie's. So it was like, that was it. A huge sigh of relief. But it was the two things that have happened since the immediate relief and the stupidity of not asking any questions. Like up as recently as yesterday, Kelly's goes in to get ready for work yesterday, and I hear the water turns on. I'm on my laptop doing some work, and I hear her say, "Honey, I need you." And I immediately,
He was back to that.
This is the closest thing, and it's happened multiple times since that. It's the closest thing I could imagine what post-traumatic stress is like.
Absolutely.
Because I'm literally tripping over the dog.
You're right back to that moment. Yeah.
And she's like, "There's a bee in the shower." Literally, we had the windows open. We were paying.
Oh, that's.
And so then I'm like, no problem.
I'll eat it. I got it. Oh, God.
But yes, the week after, I was very crazy. It's gotten better, but I still, if I hear that tone in her voice, it's me.
I have the same with my story. Is this the day that you told me, because we were supposed to go somewhere and we canceled it?
Oh, yeah.
So this is when I found out.
That's right. Yeah.
Because I didn't even know, and you told me a little earlier.
I told you. Yeah, that's right.
Before, because we had a concert.
I'm very sorry, Kelly, but I told Carlo 2 weeks before.
Oh, God, did she not know this?
That's okay. She won't care.
Oh,
I think I told her afterwards.
Because we were supposed to go.
We were supposed to go to see the Stray Cats in Buffalo.
Exactly.
And I was so shocked after that, because that was the day.
So not only did you tell me something happy, you scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
At the same time.
And tried not. I was relieved at that point, but it was all still.
Yeah, very fresh. Yeah.
So we're kind of caught up to week 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're caught up through week 9. So we've got maybe we could do another 9 weeks next week.
Yeah.
And we will, and we'll be almost caught up to real time.
I know. So this is neat. I think this thing that we're doing is kind of cool, because I think we started the podcast saying the journal, and we talked about videos and photos. And how nice is this going to be when you can actually say to your son or daughter, "Hey, we started a podcast, and this is how it sounded," and you can listen to it. So this is a cool thing I think we're doing.
I think it will be. It's been fun so far. Please, if you're listening to this far,
yes,
obviously follow it, like us on Facebook, check out our social media stuff. There's a link on our website. There's a contact page. Send us questions, ideas, comments, thoughts,
experiences.
Make fun of me if you want, though.
Call me a baby.
Call me a big baby. We want to hear from you. We want to have all those other conversations about not just what I'm experiencing right now, but what you guys have gone through.
Right, interaction between you guys is very important.
Without a doubt, that's good. That will be fun. The other thing that I do want to say is this will come out on, if everything goes to plan, on Election Day. So please
go out there and vote.
Yep, get out there and vote. That's an important thing.
People say my vote doesn't matter. Every vote matters.
Otherwise, thank you for spending another nice chunk of time with us.
Well, this was a straight get up to date episode.
Yeah. We'll start doing some other stuff. I'm collecting data on the diaper diet. Kelly's up 2 pounds. I'm down a little. So we haven't had
check please yet.
We're having some updates. The package just arrived earlier. That I don't know what it is, but it's heavy. So we'll have updates as we go.
Well, folks, that's another episode of the Gray Hair and Daycare podcast in the books. Thanks very much for tuning in and spending this time with us. We hope it was fun. If you enjoyed this week's descent into the madness of dadness, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of our future adventures. And while you're at it, give us a like and share the cast with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Carrier Pigeon, whatever you crazy kids are using. Have any hilarious parenting stories of your own? Questions about navigating fatherhood later in life, or even when normal people do it? Email us at ghdc.podcast@gmail.com.